The wind howled like a living thing, clawing at the empty highway as snow swallowed the road ahead. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, my breath fogging the windshield. I was already late for the biggest job interview of my life. Missing it would mean starting from zero again. But then, through the white storm, I saw something that made my heart stop. A figure. A woman, trapped in the blizzard. And when I finally reached her, shivering and barely able to stand, she looked up at me with trembling eyes and whispered something that would change my life forever. "How do I repay you?" At that moment, I had no idea that helping her would lead me to a story far bigger than a missed interview, a story that would tie our lives together in a way neither of us could ever imagine. The snowstorm had come out of nowhere that morning. The radio had warned about it, but I thought I could outrun it. I had ironed my only suit the night before and rehearsed every possible interview answer in my head. This job was my chance to rebuild my life after 2 years of struggling with temporary work and unpaid bills. But nature had other plans. Visibility dropped so quickly that the world outside my windshield turned into a swirling white wall. My phone signal disappeared. The GPS froze. Then I saw her. At first, I thought it was a broken road sign swaying in the wind. But the shape moved. A woman in a long coat was leaning against a snow-covered car half buried on the side of the road. Her hazard lights blinked weakly through the storm. I slowed down. My mind screamed at me to keep driving. The interview. My future. My one chance. But something in me refused to leave. I pulled over. The wind hit me like a punch the moment I stepped out. Snow crunched under my shoes as I fought my way toward her. "Hey!" I shouted over the storm. She turned slowly. Her face was pale, her hair covered in ice crystals. "Please," she said weakly. "My car, it won't start." She was shaking so badly that I immediately took off my coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You'll freeze out here," I said. Her lips trembled. "I've been trying to call for help for an hour." The inside of her car was useless, battery dead, engine silent, snow piling around the tires. "We need to get you somewhere warm," I said. She looked at me like I'd just saved her life. "Your car?" "Still running." I helped her walk through the storm. She nearly collapsed twice before we reached my car. The heater blasted warm air as she sat there, shivering and trying to steady her breathing. Minutes passed before she finally looked at me properly. Her eyes were deep brown, filled with exhaustion and relief. "You stopped," she said quietly. "Most people wouldn't in this weather." I shrugged. "Couldn't just leave you there." She studied my suit, now wet with snow. "You were going somewhere important. A job interview." Her face fell. "And you stopped anyway?" I checked the clock. I was already 40 minutes late. I forced a smile. "Guess that interview wasn't meant to be." She looked down, guilt flickering across her face. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." The storm outside raged harder, trapping us in a small pocket of warmth. After a long silence she whispered softly, almost shyly. "How do I repay you?" I laughed lightly. "Just staying alive is repayment enough." But she didn't smile. Instead, she looked at me with a strange seriousness, like she was remembering something important. "You don't understand," she said. "I don't forget people who save my life." Eventually the snow eased just enough for us to drive. Her name was Elena. She lived nearly 40 minutes away in a quiet town surrounded by pine forests. I drove carefully through icy roads while she slowly warmed up beside me. We talked along the way. She told me she worked in corporate management but had been visiting a client when the storm trapped her. She laughed softly when she heard about my interview disaster. "You sacrificed your future for a stranger." "I'd do it again," I said. When we reached her house, she turned to me with a grateful smile. You're sure you don't want anything? Just a coffee would be nice, I joked. She hesitated, then nodded. Inside, the warmth of her home felt unreal after the storm. She made coffee while I stood awkwardly in the kitchen, feeling completely out of place. Then her phone rang. She answered it calmly. Yes, cancel my morning meetings. Pause. And move the interview schedule to tomorrow. I frowned. Interview schedule? I asked. She ended the call and turned toward me. You said you had an interview today, right? Yeah. At a company downtown. But I missed it. She tilted her head. What company? When I told her the name, she suddenly went quiet. Then she laughed. Not a mocking laugh, an amazed one. You're kidding. What? She leaned against the counter, crossing her arms with a smile that suddenly made everything feel surreal. That interview you missed. I felt my stomach tighten. Was with my company. I blinked. Wait, what? And not just that, she continued gently. Her eyes met mine with a playful warmth. I was the one who was supposed to interview you. For a moment, the room went completely silent. All the stress, the missed opportunity, the storm, it all crashed together in my mind. You're serious? She nodded. And because of you. I'm alive to conduct that interview tomorrow. I sat down slowly, trying to process it. You mean? I still have a chance. Elena smiled. Oh, you definitely have a chance. She walked closer, her voice soft but sincere. But I'll warn you, saving my life doesn't guarantee the job. I laughed for the first time that day. Fair enough. She extended her hand like a professional meeting a candidate. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. try not to rescue anyone else on the way. I shook her hand, smiling. No promises. But as I left her house and looked back at the snow-covered road, one thought stayed with me. Sometimes the opportunities we think we've lost are only beginning. And sometimes helping a stranger in the middle of a storm doesn't ruin your future. Sometimes, it leads you straight to it. And sometimes, it leads you to the person you were meant to meet all along.